اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we had a short break for Eid, and now we continue with our regular Tajweed sessions. Of course, before the break, we did complete all of the Tajweed rules, and in the last session, we started a revision session. We started a revision session covering the rules that we've already covered. We covered half of them, and inshallah, today we intend to cover the other half. And with that, inshallah, we will be covering another 2 or 3 surahs, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Okay, so we finished off in the last session the Noon Sakin rules. We did up until the Noon Sakin rules. So did all of the rules up until the end of the Noon Sakin rules. Today we will be doing from Mim Sakin rules all the way till the end of the Mudud, the prolongations, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Again, for those of you are coming here for the first time in this class, as you know, it is a revision session. So we've already covered these rules. So this is why you'll see me going a bit faster than usual, because we've already covered it, inshallah. So we're going to be starting off with the Mim Sakin rules. Starting off with what is a Mim Sakin? It's as simple as a Noon Sakin. It's a Mim with a Sakin on top. It's a Mim with a Sakin on top. And Mim Sakin has 3 rules. How many rules? 3 rules, okay? And each of these rules, you will find that there is a word that is found in each of the rules, and that is the word shafawi. And shafawi is the use of the lips. Because when you look at the letter Mim, what are we using which part of our mouth are we using? The lips. So the rules will have something to do with the lips, okay? So the first rule that we covered was the idgham shafawi. The idgham shafawi. What is the idgham shafawi? Very simple. If you see a mim with a sakin, and after you see another mim, regardless if it has a fatha on it, or a kasra on it, or a dhamma on it, then this is called idgham shafawi. What is it called? Idgham shafawi. Let's look at examples for you to understand. There's 6 examples here. Let's read the first verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَلَقَدْ جَاءَكُم مُوسَى جَاءَكُم. There's a mim sakin at the end of the kum, right? جَاءَكُم. Then in the next word there is another mim. So if someone was to come and ask you, what is this rule? What are you going to say? What is the rule called? Idgham shafawi. Okay? Let's look at the next example. جَزَاؤُهُم مَغْفِرَةٌ. Jaza'uhum. There's a mim sakin in the first word. Maghfirah, there's a mim mutaharrik, meaning that it has a fatha kasra dhamma in the second word. So which rule is this? Idgham shafawi. Fantastic. Okay? So that's the first rule of the mim sakin rules. The second rule that we have is the ikhfa shafawi. Ikhfa shafawi is after a mim sakin, that is the letter ba. That is the letter ba. Which rule is this similar to? Excellent. The rule is called iqlab. When after a noon sakin there's a ba. Here it's after a mim sakin there's a ba. And in the iqlab it's after a noon sakin there's a ba. What's the difference between the two? Here in the ikhfa shafawi, the mim is a part of the word. In the iqlab, you're changing the noon into a mim. Why? To make it easier on the tongue. If I was to try and say right now, min ba'di, very difficult. But if I say min ba'di, it's easier, isn't it? Hence why the noon, there's an iqlab happening. It's changing into a mim. But if someone was to ask you what's the difference between the two, you're going to say, one, there's a change happening. One is the original meme is there. So if the original meme is there, this is called ikhfa shafawi. What is it called? Ikhfa shafawi. Okay, let's look at some examples. There's some examples here. Okay, so we have the first example. وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ. وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ. If you look at the first word, there is a meme there, right? There isn't a noon. There isn't وَكَلْبُهُنْ. It's a meme there. So there's an original meme, and after it there's a ba. So you will call this rule Ikhfa shafawi. What will you call it? Ikhfa shafawi. Okay? So that is the second rule from the mim sakin rules. طيب, moving on. We have the idhar shafawi. Idhar shafawi is simple. If after mim sakin you see any other letter except for a mim or a ba, then this is called idhar shafawi. Will you do any ghunna? No ghunna. Who can give me an example? Something that we recite every single day. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غي. عليهم غي. I'm not saying عليهم غي. That would be wrong, right? Is there a mim after it? Is there a ba after it? There's a ghain after it. So hence why this rule is called idhar shafawi. Towards the end of the surah. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا عليهم ولا. Okay? So this is called idhar shafawi. So we have three rules of mim sakin. Idgham shafawi, ikhfa shafawi, and then idhar shafawi. These fall under the rules of mim sakin. طيب. Moving on, inshallah. We have the next set of rules, and that is regarding the mudud. The mudud. Okay? And remember, the mudud is the longest part of the tajweed sessions that we have covered, inshallah. So today we're going to cover all of the mudud, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Let's see who remembers all of them. We've got some dedicated students here. Okay? So I'm going to test them, inshallah. طيب. Let's go, inshallah. So the first mad that we covered was the mad asli or the mad tabi'i, which is in English known as the natural mad, isn't it? And what are the three letters of the natural mad? Excellent, mashallah. Remembers the word. Nuhiha. Remember that. If you remember that word, then khalas. When you remember words, it's easier for you to remember the rules. Someone asks you what are the mad letters, you don't have to say, let me think 1 second. Alif, what? No. Say the word. Nuhiha. Khalas. Nu, there's the oo sound, that is a mad. He, another mad. Aha. When you have a natural mad, how long do you prolong it for? 2 counts only. So don't prolong it for longer or shorter. Okay, these are the natural hudud. Okay, so this is called a mad asli or a mad tabi'i. Okay, so some will call it a tabi'i, some will call it asli. Asli, tabi'i mean the same thing. It means something that is natural. طيب, let's go into the next mad. Mad leen. Who wants to explain to me mad leen? Today I'm the student and you're the teacher. Where's my dedicated students? Okay, the uncle said wala dhalin. Okay, someone can give the example and someone has to explain. Someone give me an example of mad leen, the other person has to explain what it is. Okay, so the brother said Quraysh. Is he right? Okay, he's right. Okay, so he's given the example now. Li'ilafi Quraysh. Okay, now I want someone to explain to me what is the rule. What is mad leen? Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Send me explanation. Someone want to complete the explanation? So it's when you're stopping on the word Quraysh. Okay, you're stopping on it. That's the first thing. Second thing is either a waw or a ya has a sakin on it, and before it there is a fatha. Both of them. So either the sound of aw or the ay. Aw or ay. So if you hear Quraysh, Aish, right? Or khawf, aw. But you're stopping on the word. Remember, only when it's stopping. So if you're stopping on the word, it becomes a mad leen. And mad leen, you can prolong it between 2 to 6 counts. So it depends. You can't pick and choose. You have to choose one, right? 2, 4, or 6. Okay? So if you do it, you will stop like this. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. You see, you can't just say لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ, right? That only happens when you are continuing. If you're stopping, there will be a mad. There will be a mad prolongation, and this mad will be called mad leen. Fantastic. Okay, so we did mad asli, now we did mad leen. Okay, So if you look at Surah Quraysh, the whole surah is full of madde, leen. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ إِيلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. And at the end of the surah, وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ. All of these are madde leen. Okay? طيب, moving on. Can you see I'm going a bit fast? Because we've already covered all these rules. طيب, the next one is madde عارض للسكون. Example. Someone give me the example. I think the uncle got it right. The example you give. You said it before. Which example did you give? Excellent. ضالين. That part there. Someone explain to me what madde عارض للسكون is now. How will you explain to your students? You're all going to become teachers today, inshallah.
So basically it happens in the end when you're stopping at the ayah.
Okay.
And it's just to make it beautified so you can continue, like.
Good. Excellent. Anyone else care to explain? That was a very good explanation. It's basically when you're stopping at madde asli. It's as simple as that. So if I say nuhiha, I'm continuing. But if I stop and there's a sakin at the end of the word, what happens? I have to prolong it. Watch. If I was to continue in the first verse of Surah Al-Fatihah, I can't say Alhamdulilāh Rabbil Alameen. That's wrong. I would say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman. That's a madde asli. But if I stop on it, what happens? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Now the mad has changed. So when you're stopping on a madde asli, it becomes madde عارض. Madde عارض للسكون. Madde عارض للسكون. Madde عارض للسكون means you're stopping because of a temporary sakin. How long do you make it? 2, 4, or 6. You can't just hop between them. So you can't make 1, 2, the other 4. Remember, whichever one you choose, be consistent with it. بإذن ta'ala. So that was madde عارض للسكون. 3 mads done. Madde asli, madde leen, madde عارض للسكون. Moving on, we have madde عوض. Example.
When there is a double fatha and you're stopping it.
Fantastic. Okay. So the brother's given the explanation. Who could give me the example? He's given the explanation. He's done the hard part. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا. If you were to continue, you'll see that there's the double fatha there. ضَبَحًا, and then you carry on. But this double fatha, when you stop on it, is going to be changed into a short mad of 2 counts. This is called madde عوض. Madde عوض. Okay? طيب. We got examples. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا أَحَدًا. The one that people really struggle with is ma'a. You know the word ma, what does ma mean? It means water, right? Okay. Be very careful. You know in the mushaf, when you're reading, you have to look at the end haraka. You have to look at the end haraka. Sometimes ma will come as ma'un, ma'in, or ma'an. Very important. Because if you're stopping on ma'un or ma'in, then it's ma'. But if you're stopping as ma'an, how would you stop? Ma'a. This is many people make this mistake, right? So if you see the word ma'an in that form where there is double fatha, then what are you going to say? Ma'a. But if it's a kasra or a dhamma, you say ma, right? Because the madde iwad doesn't apply here, because madde iwad only applies when there's double fatha. Okay, so that is the next mad. Moving on, inshallah, we have the madde muttasil. What does muttasil mean? So what does salah mean? We are connecting, mashallah, we're connecting, okay? Muttasil means when we're connecting. So maddi muttasil is when there is a hamza in the same word. When there is a hamza in the same word. You prolong it for 4 counts. There's no other choice. You prolong it for 4 counts, okay? And this is known as a maddi muttasil. Maddi muttasil. When the hamza is in the same word. If there is an alif in a separate word, what is this mad called? Munfasil. Excellent. Munfasil means when something is separate. Muttasil is connected, munfasil is separated. Okay? The difference between the muttasil and the munfasil is the muttasil, of course, 4 counts, there's no other choice. Munfasil, on the other hand, what happens? You can either do 2 or 4. And this is very good for those that are leading Taraweeh. I've mentioned this many times. But sometimes people get mixed up with the munfasil. Many famous Qur'an, they make mistakes in this area. You can't just pick and choose, right? You can't just say, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ. No, that's wrong. Okay? There's no Qur'an or no specialist in the Qur'an recitation that will give you ijazah for that. That's totally wrong. If you're going to make it short, then you make it short the whole way. Okay? So this is the difference between Madd Muttasil and Madd Munfasil. No, this is another mad, because there's a lam there. So this one is when there's a hamza. For example, the word sama'un, right? There's a hamza on the word. So we're going to do the dalin right now in the next mad that comes, okay? So remember, if there's a hamza, it's a madde muttasil. If there's a alif, madde munfasil. Okay, moving on, what was the next one?
The example of munfasil wa
Malaika, what is that? Muttasil. It's connected. One word, right? Bima unzila would be munfasil. طيب, let's move on to Madd Lazim. And this was the harder one. Can you remember the little table we did? We're going to go over the table again. Are you ready? Inshallah. Firstly, what does Madd Lazim mean? So when something is necessary or mandatory. And Madd Lazim is the longest of the mudud. And it's the one that you can't let go of, like it's khalas, right? It's something that's concrete. When it comes to Madd Lazim, there are 2 types of Madd Lazim. We have Madd Lazim kalimi and Madd Lazim harfi. What does kalima mean? Word. What does harf mean? Letter. So this is the first difference you're going to see. Kalimi is going to do with the word, harfi is going to do with the letter. Okay, so we're going to look at each category, right? So Madd Lazim is divided into 2 groups. Madd Lazim kalimi and Madd Lazim harfi. Then Madd Lazim kalimi is divided into 2 groups. Madd Lazim kalimi muthaqqal, Madd Lazim kalimi mukhaffaf. Muthaqqal, mukhaffaf. Just remember these 2 words. Muthaqqal, mukhaffaf, because it's going to be repeated again. Okay? So going back again. Madd Lazim is how many groups? What are they? Kalimi, harfi. And kalimi is of 2 groups. What are they? Muthaqqal, mukhaffaf. Okay, good. I'm trying to break it down for you. Muthaqqal is got to do with the shadda. Mukhaffaf is got to do with the sakin. Making it easier. Muthaqqal is what? Shadda. Mukhaffaf is sakin. Okay, now let's put it into perspective, inshallah. So Madd Lazim kalimi muthaqqal is when after a mad, after a natural mad, you have any other letter other than hamza and alif, right? And it is in a word and there is a shadda on it. Is the example that the uncle gave. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. That mad there. ضَالِّينَ. Let's analyze it. Is it a word or is it a letter? It's a word. First step. Second step. Is there a mad there? Is there a mad there asli there? ضَا. That's a mad there asli. Good. Second step. Third step. What's the letter after the ضَا? The lam. So it's not a hamza or a alif. That means it's a Madd Lazim kalimi. Fourth thing. Is there a shadda on it or is there a sakin on it? Shadda. So it will be muthaqqal. That's how you look at it. All of those steps that you just mentioned are in this word. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. Who's got another example? That's excellent, very good, mashallah. Al-Hajj or Al-Haqqah. Think of this word and trace back the steps that we mentioned. Is there a word? Is there a Madd Asli there? Is there a letter other than Alif and Hamza? Is there a Shadda there? If all 4 of these things meet, then what happens? Madd Lazim Kalimi Muthaqqal. طيب, Madd Lazim Kalimi Mukhaffaf. There was only one example in the Quran. MashaAllah, he's got it, yeah? Al-Ana comes twice in the same surah. So when it comes to Madd Lazim Kalimi Mukhaffaf, don't worry about it. Just remember the word. It comes, alright? Al-Ana. Okay? And this word only comes twice in the Qur'an, the same word, okay? If you come to it, then you can read it as al-ana. Some other reciters do say that you can do tasheel. I'm not going to get into that. That's for, inshallah, if you get into detail, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
It's for Fir'aun.
Yeah, Fir'aun, okay. All right, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Fir'aun, al-ana wa qad asayt, have you now, repented after you have disobeyed? Yeah? After everything that he did, he wanted to repent back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it was not accepted. طيب. Right, okay. Moving on, inshallah, we have the next section, which is the madd lazim, harfi. And madd lazim, harfi, what does harf mean? Letter. In the Quran, we have certain letters at the beginning of surah. You recite them as letters and not words. For example, as the brother mentioned, alif lam mim, ha mim, yasin. These are all letters, right? And we talked about that there's a secret behind it. We don't know, Allahu a'lam, behind these meanings. But these letters, okay, there's a certain way of reciting these letters, right? So when it comes to the madd lazim harfi, it will be related to this. The letters at the beginning of surahs. And again, it will be divided into two groups. Madd lazim harfi, muthaqqal and mukhaffaf. What is muthaqqal related to? Shadda. And mukhaffaf is related to sakin. Very simple. So if you see a sakin in the middle, you know khalas, it's madd lazim harfi muthaqqal. طيب, let's look at an example. The first ayah of Surah Baqarah. Alif lam mim. Let's trace back the steps. Is this harfi or is this kalimi? Harfi, because letters, number one. Number two, is there a mad in between? Yes, we're stretching it. Number three, there's a letter other than alif and hamza, right? So again, it's mad lazim, right? The next thing, is there shadda or is there sakin? Shadda. So that means it's muthaqqal and not mukhaffaf. Now you've done all of that, then it's classed as what? Maddi, lazim, harfi, muthaqqal. Have you understand that? Okay. Another example would be alif lam mim sad. Right? This will be classed as maddi lazim, harfi, muthaqqal. طيب. What about mukhaffaf? Okay, good. Where's the sukoon?
It's hidden in the word.
Oh, very good. Very philosophical. Right? So the other thing is it has to have a sakin. So I'm going to give you an example and you have to tell me where the sakin is. For those brothers who haven't attended. Those brothers who have attended, mashallah, you're aware. Okay? So I'm going to give you the example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Hamim. Where's the sakin? Where in the mim? Inside the meme, right? Excellent, very good, mashallah. Right? When you look at letters, think of the actual letter. Meme, if you want to spell out meme right now, if I was to tell you, can you spell out meme for me? Right? You're not going to just put the letter meme, you're going to put meme, ya, meme. Right? If you put meme, ya, meme, that means the last meme has a what? Sakin on it, right? Okay? That's how you have to think. You have to think of the inside of the letter, okay? So, hamim. This will be classed as maddi, lazim, harfi, mukhaffaf. We talked about one example that there's an exception for, and that's on the board right now. Right? And that was the kaf, ha, ya, ayn, sad. So many letters here. We've got kaf, ha, ya, ayn, and sad. Okay. Which letter was it that was an exception from these letters? Ayn. Why was ayn an exception? So what rule would that be? Madlin. Can you remember we covered Madlin? MashaAllah. Brothers on it as well. Allahumma barik. Allahumma barik. Okay. If you say the word ayn, if you stop on it, what happens? Ayn. You're stretching it. It has element of Madlin in it. Hence why some of the scholars say that if you take the position that it's a Madlin, then you will only prolong it for 2 counts. But if you prolong it for 6 counts, what's it going to be? You go back to the asl, the origin, which is that it's a harfi letter, so it will be madd lazim, harfi, mukhaffaf. Okay? The next thing that we analyze, which we will get into, is the huruf al-muqatta'at. Okay, so did you understand that so far, yeah? Mad lazim in its groups, okay? So all of these letters, they of course come under one group, and that is known as al-huruf al-muqatta'at. Al-huruf al-muqatta'at are what? Letters that are cut up and you read them as letters and not words, such as alif, lam, mim, etc., etc. These letters can be divided into three groups. How many groups? Three groups. Very simple. One group, no mad. Say it with me. One group, no mad. One group, mad asli. One group, mad asli. And one group you will be prolonging it for 6 counts. Right? So let's go through group 1 where there is no mad. Which letter is it? Alif. When I say alif lam mim, do I say alif? No, I don't, right? So there's no mad on it, right? So tick, that's out the way. No mad on it. The second group are the letters that are prolonged for 2 counts. How many counts? 2 counts. Who remembers the word that we covered? Hayyun tahur. Hayyun tahur. If you repeat that with me, Hayyun tahur. Hayyun tahur. How many letters have I said? Ha, ya, ta, ha, ra. Hayyun tahur. I'll say it again. Hayyun tahur. How many letters? 5 letters. Any of these 5 letters appear at the beginning of surahs, you will only prolong it for how long? 2 counts. Let's try it. Ha. Where does ha come? Hamim. Can I say Hamim? How long will I make it? 2 counts. Okay. Ya. Where does ya come? Excellent. Yasin. Ya, I'm not prolonging, only 2 counts. Ta. Where does ta come? Taha. Only 2 counts. That will be in the third group. Yeah, that will be in the third group. So first group was nomad, which is alif. Second group is 2 counts, which is hayyun tahur. And now the third group, which is the rest of the letters, you make for 6 counts. And say the word with me. Naqasa asalukum. Naqasa asalukum. Do you know what that means? Your honey has decreased. It's got nothing to do with Tajweed. They just make these sentences just to make it easy, okay? Naqasa asalukum. Naqasa asalukum. Noon, qaf, sad. Ain, sin, kaf, lam, kaf, mim. Right? Asalukum. Right? Any of these letters come, let's see the example that the brother brought. Noon. Noon was in this word, isn't it? Naqasa, noon. So is noon, how long will you make it? 6 counts. Where does it come, surah? Qalam. Noon. Qaf. Where does qaf come? Surah Qaf. Qaf. Where does sad come? Surah Sad. Sad. And this is how you go along. Can you see? So huruf al-muqatta'at, again, I'm going to summarize for you, inshallah, before we finish off, that it can be divided into 3 groups. One group, no mad. Which letter is that? Alif. Second group, 2 counts. Hayyun, tahur. Third group, prolong it for 6 counts. What are the letters? Naqasa asalukum. This is how you summarize it. Have you got that all? Yeah? Alhamdulillah. So that's the end of the rules that we covered. We moved on quickly to cover, I think it was Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qata'. Alright, Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qata'. Very important thing, which I mentioned to you that I have OCD over, right? I have OCD over Hamzatul Wasl and Qata', okay? Especially in Arab countries, I have that OCD. Right, what is Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qata'? For those of you who will learn the Arabic language, you'll see that certain Hamzas, they have Hamza on top, and certain don't. If you're reading from the Indo-Pak, the 13 line, they'll all be the same. So you've been saved. Right? Even in the Bengali Musaf, I think it's the same. But if you're reading from the King Fahd print, which will be a majority of the prints, then you'll see there's a difference between the Hamzat. So you have to be very careful in how you read them. So each Hamza has a specific characteristic. If you see a Hamza on top of Alif, or underneath it, this is called a Hamzatul Qata'. What is it called? Hamzatul Qata'. And Hamzatul Qata' means you pronounce it all the time, you read it all the time. Regardless if it's at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, at the end of the word, you're always going to read it. Hamzatul Wasl, on the other hand, is when you see a little sad on top of it. If you see a little sad on top of it, what does it mean? That you will only pronounce it if it is in the beginning of the word, not in the middle or not at the end. I'll give you an example. We start the Surah Al-Fatihah with Alhamdulilāh Rabbil Alameen. Correct? Al here. If you look into the King Fahd print, you'll find a sad on top of the alif. If I was to continue with the Basmala and this, when I say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim Alhamdulillah, what will I say? You will get rid of the alif. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim Alhamdulillah. Because why? It's become in the middle of the word now. So if it's at the beginning, it's pronounced. If it's in the middle, you take it off. But there are some rules to Hamzatul Wasl Qat'a that could help you. Generally, you need to learn the Arabic language. That's generally, because there's so many more rules. But there's one thing that we covered, and that is regarding the verbs in the Arabic language, right? If a verb comes in the Qur'an, right, and it comes in a certain format, you will see that there will be Hamzatul Wasl or Hamzatul Qat'a, right? If the verb comes, generally what happens is you will have the alif with the sad on top, and the second letter will have a sakin. What will it have? Sakin. If the second letter has a sakin, then we have to find out, okay, now how do I figure out if it's a, e, or u? I'll give you an example. Right? The word irji'. Think of it in your head. Irji'. Now, if you've got this alif here, and you don't have a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma on it, for a person who doesn't know Arabic language, he'll be like, okay, do I say urji'? Do I say irji'? Do I say arji'? What do I say? How do we figure it out? We look at the third letter. What do we look at? The third letter. But we look at the vowel on the third letter. What do we look at? The vowel. If the vowel is a fatha, bear this in mind. If it is a fatha or a kasra, the first letter will be kasra. Again, if the third letter is a fatha or a kasra, the first letter will be kasra. Watch. Irji'. The third letter, what does it have on it? Kasra. So the first letter is kasra. Alright. Iftah. What's on the ta? Fatha. So the first letter will be kasra. If the third letter is a dhamma, then the first letter will be dhamma. So for example, urkud. Urkud. You don't say arkud or irkud, you will say urkud. Why? The third letter has a dhamma on it, so the first letter will have a dhamma on it. So this is a summary of Hamzatul Wasl Qat'a. Remember, there's more rules.
This one.
Ism is not a verb. It's a noun. This is why I told you you have to learn the Arabic language. I said verbs specifically, because nouns, all nouns except for 12 words in the Arabic language have Hamzatul Qat'a. You can open any word. For example, Ahmed. If you write the word Ahmed, do you write it with a Hamza or without a Hamza? You're supposed to write it with a Hamza. There are 12 words in the Arabic language that you don't write with a Hamza. And from them is the word ism. If you write ism, there's no Hamza on it. This is why I didn't get into detail. There's an Arabic language you have to learn, right? If you get into the Arabic language, if you look at nouns, it's different from verbs. We were specifically talking about verbs here. So ism is not a verb, it's a noun, and that's why there's the exception for that rule. Okay? طيب, so this is regarding the Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qat'a. Okay? طيب, moving on inshallah quickly. I have to be gone by 8 o'clock. I've got a train to catch, inshallah. طيب, so we're going to quickly go over the waqf, and then we finish off, inshallah. The waqf means stop. In the Qur'an, there's certain types of stop, alright? There's certain stops that you have to stop, and certain that you can continue. Okay, and here there's a little diagram, which again I mentioned, I took it from online. Okay, if you look at it, you'll see that there's different letters. Each letter represents something. But simple as if you see a meme, make sure you stop. If you see a lam alif, continue. And the rest in between, it's bayna bay. Okay, so you can stop or you can continue. It's flexible like that, inshallah. طيب, we've got about 13 minutes because I'm in a bit of a rush. What we'll do is let's do this challenge, inshallah. Right? We've got the verse, we want to extract as many rules as we can, inshallah. Possibly we'll do one more surah as well, okay? So the verse that we have, we've already done this before, but this was time ago, right? And that is the first verse of Surah Al-Bayyinah. لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة. Let's take out all the rules as we can, inshallah. First part, لم يكن. لم يكن. It's a rule that we covered today. Which rule is this? إظهار شفوي. اللهم بارك. Okay. لم يكن. Okay. طيب, let's move on. الذين. Which mad is this? مد أصلي. Fantastic. Okay. كفروا. مد أصلي. The ra here heavy or light? Why? Patient top. ضمة. Yeah, the طبيعي or أصلي. We call it طبيعي or أصلي. Okay. من أهلي. Which rule is this? من أهلي. إظهار. Fantastic. أهلي. همس. أحسنتم. Very good. Okay. كتابي. كتاب. Which mad is this? أصلي. Excellent. والمشركين. What is this? Hams. Hams. Excellent. This alif in between, وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ, is a hamzatul wasl qata'? Brother said wasl. Because remember, if it was qata', then we would say وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ. But because it's in the middle, we're saying وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ. We're skipping it out. So it's hamzatul wasl. Okay. Mush. Hams. Rikina. Which mad? Asli. Very good. Which rule is this? Ikhfa. Ahsantum. Very good. Fakina. Which rule? Asli. Very good. طيب, let's move on. Bayyinah. At the end. Bayyinah. Ta marbuta. What is this rule if you stop on it? Hams. You have to emphasize on it. Ta'tiyahumul bayyinah. Fantastic. Very good. Okay. طيب, let's go over one surah bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. We'll just read it, inshallah, and follow after me. I'll go over the common mistakes and then we'll finish off for today bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So everyone just read after me. It is a bit of a long surah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. Excellent. What I'm going to do is just going to go over the rules and some of the common mistakes, and we'll finish off today. I do apologize, I'm in a bit of a rush. طيب, so starting off, inshallah, we have the first verse, وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا, right? When you're moving from the ta to the dad, make sure that you're pronouncing it with the kasra. Don't just say وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا. Sometimes people are rushing and they don't do the kasra or give it its due right. So it's وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبَحًا. That's the first thing. The next verse, فَالْمُورِيَاتِ. Yeah, make sure the ya comes out. فَالْمُورِيَاتِ فَالْمُورِيَاتِ and not فَالْمُورِيَاتِ. Not Hamza, it's a ya. Okay? فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبَحًا. Ba is a qalqala letter, but is a light letter, and before it is a sad. You have to do the transition. فَالْمُغِي. Gha, heavy, but when it has a kasra, least amount. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبَ. You pull it back. فَأَثَرْنَا. Tha is not a heavy letter. فَأَثَ. Very good. Not فَأَثَى. فَأَثَرْنَا. The ra is heavy, but not the tha. So don't say فَأَثَرْنَا. فَأَثَ. Tha. فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا. The next one's a hard one. Many people, many imams do this as well. They say فَوَسَطْنَا. سَطْنَا. But what is it? فَوَسَطْنَا. Seen stays how it is. فَوَسَطْنَا and not سَطْنَا. Okay? Innal insana, of course, we have that rule that we said. When you do ghunna into the noon, don't say innal. Do the emphasis on the noon. Innal insana. لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٍ. Lakanud is not one word. La is one word and kanud is another. So you separate it. Lakanud. Not lakanud. Lakanud. Okay? The next verse is okay. وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ. Don't do qalqala on the lam. Don't say لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ. Stop on it for a second. لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ. لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ. Okay? Qubur, on the word qubur, remember the ra is heavy. أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. And then finish off with a heavy ra. Okay? Sudur, hard one. Sad is heavy, dal is light, ra is heavy. Sudur. وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. And the last verse, إِنَّ رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ. Remember what is his rule? رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ. إخفاء شفوي. إخفاء شفوي. Very good, mashallah. يَوْمَئِذٍ لَخَبِيرٌ. When you finish off, remember the ra is a light letter. So don't say khabir. What do you say? Khabir. Excellent. Okay. So next lesson there will be no more tajweed rules. Khalas. I don't see any stop. Allahu Alam. I'm not sure. Okay. So next lesson, inshallah, there will be no tajweed rules. We'll be getting straight into the surahs. We'll be listening to these surahs, okay? So that means there won't be any live streaming, etc. We'll just be focusing on listening to all of you, inshallah. What we'll try to do is, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, if all of you prepare a surah, any surah from the surahs that we have taken. So if you want, one person wants to do Surah Al-Fatihah, another person wants to do Qul Huwallahu Ahad, and I'll make time to listen to that surah. So everyone will get a time to prepare one surah. So next week, come with one of the surahs that we have learned, not one of the new ones. Right? If you feel ambitious, go for it, no problem, inshallah. But try to do the surahs that we have done. So choose one of the surahs from the back surahs that we've done, prepare it properly and come, and then I'll give time to listen to it and perfect that surah. And like that, every lesson, inshallah, everyone will get time to read the surahs, and bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, you'll get time to cover all of the surahs, inshallah. Okay? Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Yes. Yeah, sure, no problem. If you just give me your email, what I'll do is when I get a time, I don't have my phone at the moment. If you take my email, the work email, and then you can just send me an email and then